Hey everybody, it's Party Lead here with another episode of Total Breakdown. Today we have an absolutely insane battle between the Beastmen of Glorious Feeder and the Lizardmen of Outerregion. If you would like to see more Total Breakdown on this channel, make sure you let me know by dropping a like and a comment down below, especially helpful as I try to pick up the pace again on Total Breakdown. With no time to waste, let's begin. And we begin, of course, with talk of composition and deployment. And as you can see, the Beastmen are pushing forward right away. Let's take a look at their plans. First, we have Morgar the Shadowgave in charge in the trees over here alongside a Bray Shaman of Shadows. Up front, you can see we've got some Bestigor Herd to the left and to the right. In the middle here, we've got the Blackhorns Ravagers, the Gore Herd with Shield Regiment of Renown. And then to either flank, we have some Ungor Spearman Herd, as well as some Ungor Spearman Herd back here, along with a Gorbel and some Minotaurs with great weapons. So a lot of anti-large capabilities, of course, and a fair bit of anti-large armor piercing as well in this central clump. We have some Harpies up front here and over here. We got some Senegor off to the side as well, just coming in for some charges, hoping to shut down the enemy where possible. While to the side over here, we've got two units of Senegor with great weapons. Again, some armor piercing, able to come in from the sides, get some nice rear charges perhaps, and do a fair bit of damage tucked away in those trees. While on the other side of the field, you can see we have the Lizardmen being led by a Slann Mage Priest of High Magic. He does have with him a Skink Chief up in the air to kick things off, and up front you can see we've got some Saurus Warriors in the middle here, some Saurus Spears on either side, and then a line of Skink Cohorts with Javelins, followed by a pair of Feral Carnosaurs on either flank, and some Temple Guards in the middle over here. So a fair bit of anti-large armor piercing among the Lizardmen as well, and then tucked away in the trees over here, hoping to skirmish away, are some of these Chameleon Skinks, just hiding to kick things off, hoping again to skirmish and get some early damage in there. So let's see how this all breaks down. Of course, we're going to see immediate aggression from both sides of the field. We've got these Lizardmen turning around, trying to pivot and face where they think the enemy is going to come from based on these Spearmen, and we have these Harpies actually moving in, I think, to scout out the trees and see what's going on. We've got these Harpies moving in as well to maybe scout out, and we've got the Senegor with great weapons pushing forward as well through the trees, as over here these Harpies already start to take some damage as they get hit by these Chameleon Skinks. So not the ideal spot for them to be in, of course. Morale down very quickly, of course, and their health is dropping as well, but we do have these Senegor moving in very swiftly, hoping to get a nice charge into some of these Chameleon Skinks and finish them off right at the start and reduce that range capability, the health and morale damage that ranged attacks can do. You can see these Harpies as well, just not having the best of times, just trying to chase these guys down. The Skink Chief getting some shots in there as well, but in come the Senegor, hoping to get a nice glorious charge into the backs of all of these Chameleon Skinks. But you can see very clever movement over here. This Feral Carnosaur moving in alongside the Temple Guard as well, moving in to try and protect these Chameleon Skinks should the Senegor get stuck in there, but the Senegor are a little too smart for that. They decide to peel off to the side as they see that Feral Carnosaur coming too close, so they try to pull away from that Feral Carnosaur, of course, but you can see that Carnosaur does not give up on the chase. Again, diving in, beautiful dive, getting a great charge in there, a touch of damage, and it's going to try and persist in that chase, hunting down those Senegor. As back here you can see all of the Beastmen have actually moved up. They're using the trees for cover, I think, to kick things off as these Harpies are getting picked off up in the air. 50% health for this one up there as well. 50% health, actually 25% health now in a blink of an eye, and they are routing as well. So a tough spot for these Harpies as all of these Skinks are getting some work done. But you can see the Senegor with great weapons are positioning themselves for a potential charge, as back over here you can see as well the Senegor are just not having a good time as that Feral Carnosaur is absolutely trashing these Senegors, just munching away at them. But in comes Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma as we have the Gorbel pushing in alongside some Ungor Spearman Herd, I think hoping to shut down the Feral Carnosaur, make sure that it's eliminated nice and early before it causes too much damage. While back over here you can see lines forming up, and the Feral Carnosaur is being chased down still, but the Gorbel is just not able to close the gap, and the Feral Carnosaur is just trying to run away. I don't think it's even trying to engage the Senegor anymore, instead chasing after the Senegor with great weapons alongside the other Feral Carnosaur brother over here. But the Gorbel continues to give chase, just hoping to shut it down before it's able to do too much. But take a look at that charge, another glorious charge, finishing off some of these Senegor with great weapons. As back over here you can see the Beastmen are pouring out from the trees, trying to get some work done. The Skink Chief is firing away at Morgar, just trying to get that early damage in as all of these Javelins come through, I think trying to hurt some of these Bestigor Herd, eliminate that high tier unit nice and early. But you can see the front lines are about to engage, as off in the distance over here as well we've got the Feral Carnosaur being engaged by these Minotaurs with great weapons. Armor-piercing anti-large against armor-piercing anti-large. Who shall prevail? We will find out. Back up in the air, these Harpies giving up on the fight once again, even though they came back. And over here you can see we've got the Bestigor Herd hit immediately by the Blood Statuette of Spite. Great call, bringing in that damage onto a unit that is very threatening. So a very good call there, of course. And you can see that health dropping very quickly. Beautifully done. Meanwhile, over here, you can see this Feral Carnosaur does get hit by the enfeebling foe, trying to make sure that the Ungor Spearman herd, as well as the Minotaurs with great weapons, are not very challenged, so to say, against that Feral Carnosaur. And in comes Melkot's Mystifying Miasma again as well, just to make sure that the Feral Carnosaur is kind of stuck in place so that these anti-large units can do their work. Meanwhile, back here, you can see we've got the Skink Cohort with Javelins firing away at these Bestigor herd, just trying to eliminate that threatening unit, while over here, we actually have Apotheosis coming in for these Saurus Warriors, and a lot going down right now in a moment's time as Morga the Shadowgave walks confidently into the fray. We've got some Chaos Spawn being summoned into the field to try and assist in this front line. We get the Shield of the Old Ones as well to protect this clump as a glorious banishment gets dropped right on the heads of all of these Ungor Spearman herds. Just take a look at that. A lot of damage there. About 25% damage to health and to morale. We also have the Blackhorns Ravagers who are taking a touch of damage from that banishment. So beautifully done there, using that Shield of the Old Ones to protect this clump should the banishment head that way, and then dropping that banishment right on top of this unit and trying to eliminate it as quickly as possible. As the Skink Chief over here, I think, drawing away some of these Harpies, just pulling them off to the side there. And up over here, you can see the Bestigor herd actually completely ruined because of all of that range support, and the Temple Guards as well holding the line, doing a lot of work with the aura of Quetzal assisting them. The Bestigor herd just did not stand a chance. While over here, you can see both of the Feral Carnosaurs having a terrible time rampaging, the lot of them. Their morale is very low. Health is at about 50% and 75% between the two of them. So not a good time for those dinosaurs, unfortunately. While over here, you can see the Centaur with great weapons have engaged some of these chameleon skinks, trying to get some damage done, pushing through towards these skinks, I think, with their javelins, but getting stuck in ultimately against some of these chameleon skinks instead. And back here, you can see we get cold-blooded on the Feral Carnosaur, trying to make sure it stopped rampaging, trying to make sure it gets engaged properly, while here, this one is actually routing, hit by Melkot's Mystifying Miasma, keeping it slow so that the Minotaurs with great weapons are able to shut it down, hopefully once and for all. While down here, you can see more rampaging kicking off with some of these Saurus Warriors, but we do have the Chaos Spawn doing a lot of work, but another Blood Statuette of Spite gets dropped on the Bestigor herd. Again, trying to finish them off. Take a look at that, though. Their health is right down to about 25%. Their morale is so low, and they're about to eat a rear charge from these Saurus Warriors as well, so the Bestigor herd are very close to giving up on the fight. And Morga the Shadowgave as well is not having a good time. He is being hit by Arcane Unforging earlier. He got hit by it once, and the Slann Mage Priest is going to try and hit him again, while back over here, you can see the Rampaging Feral Carnosaur is getting pinned down by the Centaur, hoping that the Ungor Spearman herd can close the gap. The Feral Carnosaur is rampaging, so it will respond by charging into those pointy spears. While over here, we have another charge coming through. A small charge, a short charge, because the Saurus Spears are right there to respond, so the Centaur with great weapons pull back right away into safety, and instead decide to go in against the Slann Mage Priest of High Magic. We have these Centaur with great weapons coming in as well as these Minotaurs with great weapons. While back over here, you can see once more, Morga the Shadowgave does get hit by Arcane Unforging. Not a bad idea at all. He is quite the beast of a beastman. Morga can take a lot of damage, so just focusing down and trying to eliminate him right from the start is a great call. While you can see over here as well, Blackhorns Ravagers having a tough time against these Saurus Warriors who are being assisted by Apotheosis. They're able to cause fear now, so they might actually scare some units off, but you can see the Slann Mage Priest in a terrible situation. Morale is very low, and in come the Minotaurs as well to try and finish the job off over here, and that Slann Mage Priest immediately begins to give up on the fight, routing right away. Health is down to about 25%, and if that leadership falls, the Lizardmen are going to be in a terrible position again. If you can drop enemy leadership, that makes a huge difference. And take a look across the field. We have a couple of routes already for the Lizardmen. A lot of these units are very low on morale. Got some rampaging Feral Carnosaurs over here. This Feral Carnosaur over here is very close to dying. It is routing right now, very low on health, and the Ungor Spearman herd continue to poke and prod away. While back over here, you can see we've got the Centaur with great weapons looking for another opportunity to charge in. Coming in from two sides here, I think, trying to get some damage into the Skink Cohort with javelins, but also get that charge bonus damage into the Slann Mage Priest of High Magic. So low on health right now, but just short of dying, as over here we have these Ungor Spearman herd chasing after the Feral Carnosaur as well, or hoping to at least rout it off the field. And you can see these chameleon skinks specifically are doing a lot of work here, just firing away these Harpies, trying to make sure that they are kept at bay, and the Chaos Spawn kind of sitting still over here, the Bestigor herd and the Blackhorns Ravagers as well, not taking any orders for a moment there, but now being sent in to get some work done. The Bestigor herd over here still sticking in the fight, but in comes the Feral Carnosaur, whipping its head and just tossing some of these Bestigors around. Beautifully done there, the Bestigor herd eating that rear charge and going to take a lot of health and morale damage, of course, and maybe thinking about leaving the battlefield, and as you can see, we've got Lizardmen coming in from all angles on the Bestigor herd, so the Bestigor herd, yeah, very close to wavering. They are actually terrified right now thanks to that feral Carnosaur, so beautifully done by the Lizardmen over there, and Morgr over here, you can see, is at about 50% health, so again, he's not been having a good time at all. Those Arcane Unforgings were excellently used, but take a look at that. We have routes beginning to spread across the battlefield over here right now, as the Slann Mage Priest is nowhere to be seen. Has been killed, and over here you can see the Bray Shaman does bring in a little bit of magic. That Pendulum doing a fair bit of hurt to some of these skink cohorts with their javelins, just trying to tip the balance over there. They were already low on health and morale, and using that to get that morale to drop right down. They're wavering right now, but they might actually rout. One of them is routing, and over here, meanwhile, you can see we actually have the Blackhorn's Ravagers being dropped by the Temple Guards, but that Pendulum came through and did a little bit of damage to those Temple Guards as well. Good call. The Temple Guard is a very scary unit to be up against, and you can see that that did do a lot of work, and we do have routs and shatters coming across the field right now as the Minotaurs with great weapons are chasing after some of these Saurus Spears as well, hoping to finish them off, and you can see the feral Carnosaur over here not having a good time whatsoever, but diving into that Bray Shaman. That Bray Shaman may have cast his last enfeebling foe on these Temple Guard, trying to reduce their capabilities, but you can see that Bray Shaman again being completely wrecked over here, terrified right now by the feral Carnosaur. We've got the Skink Chief firing away as well, but Morgr comes through, and the feral Carnosaur decides to disengage as there's disarray across the field. You can see routes happening, shatters actually spreading, the feral Carnosaur pulling away, trying to keep away from these Minotaurs with great weapons, trying to stay alive right at the end over here, as we do get the Saurus Warriors moving in to intercept rather beautifully, allowing that feral Carnosaur to get away, to live, to die another day perhaps, while over here you can see the Temple Guard still under the influence of the enfeebling foe, but not being engaged. Morgr the Shadowglaive over here being tied down, I think, by these Saurus Spears, but the Temple Guards do push in to engage. As off to the side over here, the Bray Shaman does decide to rally and get involved once more. The feral Carnosaur as well chased after some of these Centaur with great weapons and got them terrified to leave the field, while over here counter charges into the Minotaurs with great weapons, but a risky call over there. Again, they're both anti-large armor-piercing units over here, but the feral Carnosaur is very close to giving up on the fight already, and here you can see we have another Shatter, just completely giving up on the fight, these Chameleon Skinks, as Morgr the Shadowglaive decides to dive in on the Saurus Spears, finish them off, while these Ungor Spearman herd are moving in towards that feral Carnosaur, hoping to actually kill it, so it's not able to return once more. And back here you can see we get Melkot's Mystifying Miasma on the Temple Guards. Good call, just trying to slow them down, just trying to hold them in place, allowing these Ungor Spearman herd to move in and intercept what could have been a very deadly charge into the back of Morgr the Shadowglaive, while over here as well you can see the Centaur with their great weapons chasing after, I believe, the feral Carnosaur over here, again hoping to just drive it off the field, if nothing else, while the Temple Guard now are able to engage against Morgr. Morgr actually decides to dive in himself, hoping to get some work done, but again, it's a dangerous position to be in. Morgr is pretty low on health. He is going to take a fair bit of damage over here, but of course, you want to use his capabilities in melee, and he's diving in there with great enthusiasm, as you can see, and the Temple Guard are not having a good time at all, but the Skink Chief, you can see up in the air, just firing away, trying to get some work done over here. The Centaur with great weapons as well, looking for an opportunity to dive in. I think maybe setting up for that rear charge, and you can see doing exactly that, looping around, getting a glorious charge in there, beautifully done there, tossing some of the Temple Guard back, but of course the Temple Guard are anti-large and armor-piercing, so they're going to hold their ground, and they're going to finish off the Centaur with great weapons. Take a look at the Centaur with great weapons drop so quickly, and ultimately deciding to actually pull back into safety. A good call, maintain that morale, retain that morale, turning around, seeing this opportunity, and diving headfirst into all of these Saurus Spears, and then deciding, you know what, I don't want to be stuck with the pointy end, pulling back, looping off to the side, and staying safe, coming in from the side instead, and just playing this game, this risky game, as these Saurus Spears are coming in from both sides, able to sandwich the Centaur with great weapons, deciding not to engage, pulling away, and trying to get another charge instead into these Temple Guards, using that rear charge to get that extra morale damage, hoping that they will actually surrender, but that doesn't really work out perfectly. Instead, pulling back now to hit these Saurus Spears over here, and then pulling away as quickly as possible. You cannot stay stuck in against anti-large units, of course, and some excellent micromanagement over here with the Centaur with great weapons. You can see Morgr over here having a field day as well, 79 kills to his name. He is surrounded by enemies, just trying to whack him around left, right, and center, and you can see the Centaur with great weapons do give up on the fight. They are pulling back, they are routing, in fact, while the Skink Chief up in the air is firing away at Morgr the Shadowglaive, just trying to eliminate him from a distance, but the Beastmen are coming out heftily on top over here. The Lizardmen are very close to completely losing this battle as these ground troops are beginning to give up. That means the Skink Chief will be forced to ground himself, and you can see he is actually willingly grounding himself right now to try and rescue, I think, these Temple Guards over here, but the Temple Guards shatter as well. Skink Chief just tossing Morgar the Shadowgave back, trying to get some work done, and you can see the Senegor with their great weapons turning back, returning, maybe willing to dive in, but not able to charge, of course, a flying Skink Chief. And if we zoom out a little bit, you can see we do have the Ungor Spearman herd over here trying to rejoin Morgar the Shadowgave. The Skink Chief continues to fire away at the Senegor with great weapons, hoping, I think, again, to just drop their morale to the point that they will give up on the fight. We do have the Saurus Spears returning, and we do have the Senegor with great weapons again giving up on the fight, so there's another route. But what chance do these Lizardmen actually have? They've got the very badly hurt Saurus Spears and the Skink Chief, who is still almost at full health, but if those spears go down, then the Skink Chief will be in a terrible position. Morale will drop very quickly. Morgar decides to turn around and get engaged against the Skink Chief over here. He does have to be careful that a rear charge doesn't come through from the Saurus Spears, but his own Ungor Spearman herd decide to give up on the battle. They tuck tail and run, perhaps literally for the most part. Morgar the Shadowgave here being beat around, being tossed around. He's just trying to get up over here as this charge comes through from the Saurus Spears. The Skink Chief having an absolute field day now. Morgar again is able to regenerate, but he is taking damage pretty quickly. In comes another beautiful charge. Morale is down. He's taking a lot of hurt. Cold-blooded on the Saurus Spears to keep them fighting, to keep Morgar completely surrounded. In come the Ungor Spearman herd again, but is that too little, too late? Is the tide turning against the Beastmen? You can see Morgar very close to dying, very close to giving up as well. He is just standing there right now as the Skink Chief just nudges him around, and in comes the rout. And the Skink Chief and his Saurus Spears with Cold-blooded are fighting to hold back the Beastmen, and just like that, a valiant defeat the Beastmen. Never give up is the motto here, and that much is pretty clear. The Beastmen had a great start to the whole battle, trying to eliminate the Lizardmen skirmishers and able to run off some of the bigger beasts using the Gorbel and the Minotaurs and even the Senegor with great weapons. There was some great use of magic, and Morgar did some serious work as usual. But in the end, the skirmishing skinks of the Lizardmen kept chipping away at the enemy, softening them up alongside some great work from the Slann Mage Priest and his magical damage output, and that left the Skink Chief with a chance of winning it for the Lizardmen. It was beautifully done by both players. As always, make sure you subscribe to this channel for more Total War content and keep sending in those battle replays. I do think it's one of the best ways to learn, and it's always nice to see such amazing battles from the community. I'd also like to thank all of my channel members and patrons for supporting this channel on a monthly basis, keeping us alive and running smoothly, and I'd like to thank you for watching. I'll see you on the battlefield.